Hi, this is Ethan Brown with The Woodsman's Way. Today we're going to learn how to take a charred material, a natural material, or a charred cloth, create an ember using the flint and steel technology, and then transfer that ember into a cedar bark bird's nest. Stick around and I'll show you how it's done. Alrighty, so let's get our cedar bark to make our bird's nest. Now again, there's a lot of materials out there you can use. I mean, the forest is just full of different materials and resources you can use to create a bird's nest. But today we're going to be using some of the cedar bark. I showed how to process that in a previous video on how we made charred punkwood. I'll go ahead and show you how to process it again just so you can kind of get a sense of it. But it's actually pretty simple. The main idea you want to keep in mind is when you harvest the cedar bark or other bark material and you begin to process it, you're going to want to process it a lot farther than we did in our video on charred punkwood. Reason being is we use a simple match, an actual flame in that video. That requires a lot more, it requires less fine material to catch the flame. When you're dealing with an ember, you're going to want those really fine fibers in the middle of your bundle to catch and to build that solid base as you blow it to a flame so that it continues to burn and dries out the rest of the material. So let's go ahead and harvest some of the cedar bark here, and then I'll show you how to process it. Stick around. Alright, so like Sean Kelly says, it's good to go. So now we've got to process this down, get those fine fibers out, try to get rid of as much as of that outermost bark out of it as possible, or at least work it to the outside of the bundle so we don't have that right against the flames. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so we got our bird's nest all processed down and ready to take an ember. So now we're going to set this aside. The ground's not too moist, so we should be good sitting on the ground. Go ahead and pull out our char tin here. And this is the charred wood, the charred punk wood that we made in the other video, last video on how to char punk wood. So we're going to get that lit. I'll try to get the camera maneuvered down here so hopefully you can see that ember. We'll throw it in our bird's nest and blow it to a flame. So just a minute, we'll be right back. Well, we got that one going. We might be able to transfer that over and get that one. Hope you can see that. It's kind of hard to see there, but go ahead and blow it. The camera's come in here. Oh, wind directions are different. It's always a good sign when it really starts smoking. Oh, there we go. We got flame. It'll be warm tonight. Alrighty, so I'm back. Okay, so that went very well. You're going to notice a couple things that I want to point out, and then there's a couple things you may have not noticed that are really good tips for being successful, and also a few safety tips, which are always a good thing. So number one, on the safety tip note, you might have noticed that I did not hold my knuckles on the steel as most people do. This is from experience that, especially with a sharp piece of flint, which I'll also talk about in a minute, you are liable to completely nav up your knuckles. I mean, they're going to look horrible, and let me tell you, it hurts like a knife cut. I mean, because that's basically what flint is when you sharpen it up. So I always hold just the two fingers in the loop, hold it out. I can usually hold it pretty steady to get those nice big sparks going off. The other thing you're going to notice is I got a lot bigger sparks on just starting out on this video than the last video. Reason being is in the last video, my piece of flint actually got chipped, and which was a good thing. It chipped it, and so as you can see, it sharpened that end up pretty well there, and so now we got a nice fine edge to cut those steel fibers off, or steel molecules, sorry. So that would be the reason I got bigger sparks, which is your success rate is going to go up tremendously with bigger sparks and more of them. Another thing I'm going to note is with punk wood, you're going to have more success than with charred cloth. I've used charred cloth to start several fires, and because, I mean, it's just a matter of matter, there's a lot more density and matter in a piece of charred punk wood or other dense material than there is going to be in charred cloth, like a cotton bandana or something like that. So I would definitely recommend using a punk wood or other, again, dense material, because you're going to have that longer ember. Well, that thing's still smoking. It ain't quite out. You're going to have a longer ember. I'm going to go ahead and put that out. There we go. You're going to have more heat, especially during the wintertime or when it's raining, snowing, whatever it may be. I mean, again, ground might be just a little bit moist, but not bad at all. Hasn't rained for probably 2 days, so everything is kind of dried up a little bit. But you get in a good rainstorm or just after, and you're going to want as much ember and much time and much heat as you can out of that ember to warm your bird's nest up. So that is one thing to note. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Please check out my YouTube channel, The Woodsman's Way, and subscribe, like, comment below if you have any questions, suggestions, anything like that. Share it with your friends, and I'll be back with you on another adventure of The Woodsman's Way. Thanks for watching.